How's it going? Happy February. What's up? It's kind of weird talking about the month so far in advance because if you don't know already, I'm doing these just, premeditated, I guess. But, oh shit, forgot the introduction. Let's start off with the introduction. If you don't already know, I'm Migdalia, your host. Welcome to Life with Migdalia. As I was saying, I'm doing these premeditated and talking about the coming months is weird, especially since I'm doing this in November. But, and Thanksgiving is technically next week. Um, oh no, my phone is on. I need to silence it. So I've been selling my necklaces at this little convenience store in Kansas, and it's super cute, super tiny, but oh my god, she makes amazing food. But I've been selling my necklaces there, and I've made about $30 so far. Um, so it's not much, but hey, a win is a win. We're gonna celebrate the small ones. And I love it. But I ended up ordering, what the fuck was it? A chicken, bacon, ranch sandwich. Oh my god, you guys. It was so good. Mind you, I'm also craving a chicken Caesar salad. Oh my god. French fucking kiss that bitch. Um, Also went for a run today. Um, you know what's really annoying? As for my ladies listening, our periods are so fragile. And I don't even mean that in like a, I guess, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I mean it. I mean it. Our periods are so incredibly fragile because any change of just any type of fucking change, our body's like, hey, we're gonna make your period late. And I obviously can't be fucking pregnant because I'm a lesbian and I use a dildo. So that's impossible. But I've been running for the last 2 weeks and it's made probably a difference on my body. I don't know. It's really annoying because I should have started it last week. And it's this fucking long. So, if you diet and exercise more and just eat healthier, that could change your period. If you eat less and eat, I guess, more junk food, like that could also change your period. If you're stressed out, changes your period. What else? What else? Just anything could really tip the scales on your period. And I guess it's nice in its own way that we can see, like, oh my god, something's wrong with our body because our periods or whatever. And sometimes that's not the case. But yeah. Or if you're on birth control, that could also have an effect as well. Copper IUDs or hormonal IUDs or regular birth control pills. Like, they are so different and just have so many different side effects. Like, I was on the pill when I was 16. So from the time I was 16 until, when did I stop taking the fucking pill? I got annoyed at the fact that I had to take it every day at the same exact time or else it wouldn't work, and I ended up fucking forgetting about it. So I ended up switching over to the patch, which is kind of like a nicotine patch, and you just put it on your body and whatever, which I really just don't know how that works. So I was on the patch for a couple of years, and then they don't really give you an IUD unless you've had sex. Like, that's the clear indication because of your hymen and whatever else. Like, they gotta pop you open with this little duck clamp and it goes tick 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 and spreads you open a bit so they can shove that bitch in your uterus. And yeah. So I've had the hormonal IUD. That one was fine. And I got it when I was 20. No. 19. Yes. because that one stayed in for about 5 years. So it was fine. But the weight gain, oh my God, let me fucking tell you. I went from 125 pounds from the time I was 20, which, be a little lenient because your body changes from teenager to adult to whatever. So I started gaining weight. I went from 125 pounds to about 160 within 5 years. I talked about going to the gym, whatever, and losing weight on birth control is very difficult. So then when I was 24, I switched to the copper IUD, which I would recommend the copper IUD far more than I would any other, even the hormonal shit, because copper is just copper. It doesn't have the hormones that other birth controls have. So you get that feeling of your normal body. And my roommate was like, he said his mom would always say, why would girls who are full of hormones get more hormones added to their bodies? And I was like, damn, that's a great point. Because you're just filling your body with hormones. Like, we're going to act crazy. We're going to go insane. It's going to mess with our mental health so bad. Like, it's ridiculous. So I got the copper IUD and it actually changed my moods. Like, I felt better about myself. I felt more clear-headed. I was starting to lose weight naturally, and it just melted off, honestly. But yeah, you know what I mean? So whatever. Being a girl is tough. That's all I'm gonna say. But for the topic of today's conversation, because it's February, because I'm posting this in February, we're going to talk about relationship stuff for the month of love, for Valentine's Day. Now, if you're sitting there rolling your eyes being like, I fucking hate Valentine's Day, you know what? Go suck a toe, okay? I love Valentine's Day. It's one of my favorite little holidays. Even though it's not an actual holiday, I still love love, okay? I am that bitch that wears hearts and red and pink, ribbons in my hair, whatever, you name it. Like, I want to go on a date. I want to wear my heart-shaped sunglasses. I want to celebrate and watch love stories and movies and shows and whatever. Like, that is me. I love Valentine's Day. Mind you, it's also a very big point in my relationship because me and my girlfriend started talking on Valentine's Day. So, with that being said, actually, when am I going to post another episode for February? Okay, yeah. I'll talk about it more on the next episode of How I Met My Girlfriend. How I Met Your Mother. You know, I've never actually seen that show. I actually kind of want to watch the ending only. I'm also that type of bitch. Like, I want to know the end of the story and what happens because why the fuck not? But this one goes hand in hand with shit that I've talked about previously. And being in a relationship is tough. It is a challenge. It is not for everyone. You have to compromise. You have to grow, and you have to change yourself in ways. And I'm not saying like change yourself completely because that's a negative part. I'm saying like you have to change in a way, like if you're stubborn, you have to not be as or at all stubborn in a relationship. Like, pick the moments, okay? There's moments where you can be stubborn. Your fight or flight response has to change. It's really just a learning curve altogether. And you have to give that person grace. You have to forgive them because yes, you're in a relationship. The person that you date in the beginning, like through the honeymoon phase, oh my God, it's perfect. I love you. You're so perfect. You're so perfect. And then you get out of that honeymoon stage and like real life hits where you're just like, oh my God, you're such a pain in the ass. Like, you piss me off. This is driving me crazy. You drive me crazy. That's normal. That's natural. It's going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what, because you are surrounded by this person 24/7, constantly. Constantly. Even if you're going to work, like, you're still surrounded by everything this person is to you. It's like best friends and siblings, okay? The more you're around someone, the more they're gonna piss you off. That's just how it happens. You're around your siblings all the fucking time. Yeah, you're gonna bicker, you're gonna argue, you're gonna fight. It's just the natural norm thing. That's why you need to take time for yourself, which is also a little contradiction because, even when I take time for myself, I get maybe 30 minutes and I'm like, you know what? I miss my girlfriend. What is she doing? But it's even a little more difficult because she's away for work and my nose is dripping. But that's not even what I was going to talk about, okay? What I'm going to talk about is the 4 horsemen of a relationship. And what does that mean? The 4 horsemen are basically the end. Kind of like the apocalypse, where you have the 4 horsemen that come and it's like the end of the world and whatever. 4 horsemen of a relationship. This is how relationships end. And it's okay to work on them. It's okay to, have time to figure it out, because even if you've been in like toxic and abusive relationships before, it takes a long time, especially if you've been through that type of shit your whole entire life. And I'm not even saying like, oh, 5 years I was in your whole entire life. No, I'm saying your whole entire life. From the time that you could understand what the hell was going on and your mommy and daddy and whatever, to the time where you became an adult and or teenager and started actually getting into relationships. Oh my God, it's that time of season where everything just makes my nose stuff up. So, like I said, in every relationship, there are small moments that can determine whether love grows or fades. Psychologist John Gottman called them the 4 horsemen: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Once you notice them, you can stop them before they destroy the connection. And today, I just want to talk through what these patterns look like, why they hurt, and how we can respond to them both as an individual and as a couple. Because God forbid something ever happens in your relationship and you guys do end because of these things, you can take that knowledge and use it to your next relationship. And that's basically what being a person is, what being a human is: growing and realizing your mistakes and moving on from them. Now, these 4 communication patterns were identified by Dr. John Gottman and colleagues as highly predictive of relationship breakdown. Contempt is the single strongest predictor of divorce. Gottman's couple lab research is frequently cited for very high prediction accuracy, commonly reported 90% or more in certain studies and analyses. Analysi? What's the plural for that? Analyses? I don't like how that sounds. That's how that makes me feel. So, criticism. What is it? If you don't know, I'm gonna fucking tell you. So hold on to your clit. Criticism is when we attack someone's character instead of addressing a behavior. The phrases, you never listen, or you're so lazy. The problem isn't just that it hurts, okay? It signals to your partner that they are fundamentally flawed, not just that something in the moment was upsetting. The antidote, how to fix it: complain without blame. Use an I statement to express your feelings and needs. For example, I feel unheard when I'm interrupted. Can we try slowing down our conversations? Which, me and my girlfriend have this issue more often than I would like to admit, because which just isn't an excuse, and I was telling her this actually last night. People with ADHD, typically, our brains are firing at faster speed than we would like. And with me personally, I like being involved in conversation. I think conversations are fun. I'm very extroverted. I just get excited about being involved in part of the conversation. So I have tendencies to interrupt, and I don't mean to do it. It's just there's not always a filter between my brain and my mouth. So what I'm thinking immediately comes out of my mouth. And it really makes it difficult, especially when we're on FaceTime, because it lags sometimes. So if she's talking at the same time that I'm talking, it kind of layers on top of each other to make it sound like I'm interrupting her, she's interrupting me. And I know that it makes her feel unheard. And I also can't control my face. So even when I stop and I just sit there with my face, I'm like, okay, continue in my head. But my face is saying something like, are you fucking like serious? I don't even know. I'm just going off of what she says. Like, I'm thinking something completely different, but yet my face is saying what my brain is not saying, if that makes sense. Sometimes they match and sometimes they don't. So, with criticism, it keeps saying those I statements of, I feel unheard when I'm interrupted, can we try slowing down our conversations? It keeps the conversation safe, focused on the behavior, and opens the door to repair instead of escalation. So, a tip for you guys. Pause before you speak. Ask yourself, am I addressing the behavior or am I attacking the person? I know that things get heated in arguments and we say things that we don't mean, but it's just one of those things where you really have to try to bite your tongue and have a clear head and not focus on the emotion that is happening, such as anger or sadness. Next one is contempt. Contempt is the nastiest of the four horsemen. It's eye rolls, sarcasm, mocking tones, and the subtle I'm better than you energy. Gottman found contempt is actually the strongest predictor of divorce or breakup because it erodes admiration and respect. The antidote? Gratitude and respect. Shift from sarcasm to genuine appreciation. Even something small. I really value how you handled that today, or I noticed how thoughtful you were. Thank you. It's about noticing and acknowledging your partner's efforts, rebuilding admiration, even in small amounts. So I kind of used this yesterday to, not the contempt part, more so the admiration, in a way where I guess it was just me noting how much progress my girlfriend and I have made through this, because previous me, I would be all for, actually. I would, well, more so my ex would do the criticizing, and then I would just keep quiet. I was more so the one that shut down because I don't like when someone's angry and yelling at me, so I just like acted like I didn't give a fuck because I would go numb and I would dissociate. And then those moments of contempt would happen and I would roll my eyes and just sit back and like listen without actually engaging. And I never showed like gratitude, because realistically that ex, like, I was not really grateful for anything. A lot of the time it was him treating me like shit, not listening. Like, I would ask him, hey, just keep this clean, and he just would not do it. It was one of those instances where I was like more of his mother than his actual partner. I would come home, even if he would be home all day, he would just play video games, eat, do whatever, leave garbage all around his gaming desk. The dishes would still not be done. The bed wouldn't be made. Like, nothing around the apartment was done, and it got super annoying that I would come home from a day of work and I would have to do all of this. Like, I felt like I was living in filth. And it was just like that relationship screwed me up for a long time, and it literally made me not want to have children or get married. But even before that, I always liked the thought of marriage. Like, I was very much, I told you at the beginning of this episode, like, I love. But every time I thought of marrying someone, it's the men, I should correct. Every time I thought of marrying a man, I always felt like, there was just something about the idea. Like, it just grossed me out. And I always thought, like, oh my God, if he proposed right now, like, maybe I'd say yes in the moment. But then the more I thought about it, I'd be like, yeah, no, like, I don't want that. And then going through that relationship closer to the end of it, I really just honed down on the idea that I did not ever want marriage or children, because I don't want to take care of somebody like that for the rest of my life. And then my girlfriend changed my mind. So that stuff can happen. But I was also really young in that relationship. He was also really young in that relationship. I'm not making excuses for either one, and I'm just saying my perspective over it, that I could not be the proper partner for him, because I didn't even know, like, my own sexuality. And that's just like, like, I wish I would have known sooner, so that way I didn't have to put somebody through that. But it's one of those things where, like, how was I supposed to know? Like, I just didn't meet my type in a woman until I was 24. Like, that was it. And at that point, like, it had already ended. Because, let's see, met her October of 2023. And I broke up with him May of 2023. So, like, those months. But that relationship still was fucking crazy. And maybe I'll dive into that in May. So, who knows? Maybe I'll sprinkle it around. But, yeah, the contempt was more so like eye rolls and just me not really caring about the situation. Like, it was one of those, shut the fuck up, get over this, and let's move on about our day. Like, I did not care to speak. But the progress that I was telling her about was, I can see the progress. Like, I can see myself making those progress, because before, I was always out of a fight and flight response, because of, like, abandonment issues or anger issues growing up with my parents. Like, every time, it was more so rejection. So every time I would get in trouble, I would try to go out and speak to my parents, and they would look at me and be like, get the fuck out of my face, like, I don't want anything to do with you. So I would sit in my room until they came to me, and that's when I knew, like, it was okay. So getting out of that mindset really is difficult, which has caused me to be defensive. But my progress is, I'm becoming more of a fight response, like getting this argument not over with, but like done. And what's the word I'm looking for? Not completed. Like we just move on from the argument faster and we can go about our day and it doesn't have to cause like a bad day, if you know what I mean. Because typically when people get into arguments, they're like, oh my god, this has ruined my fucking day. Like, I don't want to talk to you for the rest of the night. Like, yeah, but those arguments would go on for a couple of hours and I'm finding myself getting faster and faster at resolving the conflict. There it is. That's the word I was looking for. Resolving the conflict. So what would take me like a few hours is now taking me less than an hour. So just making those nice little progress modes, because I know she's not gonna go anywhere. Knock on wood, I know that we're gonna figure this out and it's gonna be okay. So if I could just let go of my pride, my ego, and my stubbornness, we can get through this, because people fuck up and we kind of evaluate how we could have done things differently, so that way we can, if this ever happens again, we know what to do next time, which is nice. But a tip for you guys for the contempt is try to give one genuine compliment to your partner every day, no matter how minor. Contempt fades when appreciation grows. So always compliment them, and don't just compliment them in a way that talks about the surface thing. Like, compliment them on the deeper level. Like, I really appreciate when you take time out of your day to say this, this, or this. Like, I love when you tell me about your day. I really appreciate you involving me in your day, like when something goes on, which bare minimum, but just, giving you examples. I really appreciate the way you heated me up food when you also grabbed yourself food. Like, just start small and then they'll come into more contact with your, like, what the fuck am I even saying? The ideas will come to you more often, is what I'm trying to get at. And for number 3, we have defensiveness. So, this is my fucking expertise. I know defensiveness like the back of my fucking asshole. Don't ask me how I know. I just know my asshole. I'm just kidding. No, but I know defensiveness very well. It's been my best friend for a long time. And unfortunately, it's something that I have to get over. I know this, along with controlling my facial expressions. I know, I get it. It's tough. I can't afford therapy right now, you guys. This is why we're doing it raw dogging, okay? Just doing this way. So, defensiveness. What is it? Well, I'm gonna fucking tell you. It's when we respond to conflict by blaming or justifying ourselves. It's not my fault, or you always blame me. It blocks communication and prevents healing. The harder you defend, the harder it is to connect. Ugh. I do this unconsciously, which that just contradicts what I just said. I've been noticing it more this past year than I have ever in my entire life. I did it unconsciously, and it's been brought to my attention more and more as this year goes on, and I'm like starting to catch it every time that it happens, so that way I can learn and like get it out of my system, so that way it no longer is defensiveness and it's just like yeah, you're right, which I have been using. She makes a valid point and I go, yes, you're right, like you are correct. So that's like me putting aside my pride. Now, the actual antidote take small responsibility, even if it's just a little. Acknowledge your part in the moment. Example, you're right, I was distracted. I'll try to listen better next time. Even a small admission signals that you are on the same side, not in opposition. So, the saying, like, yeah, you're right, has really helped me a lot because even before, I hated to admit that I was wrong. Like, which is kind of a cliche thing, like, oh, women are never wrong, blah, 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 we're always right. Yeah, but no. Yeah, but no. We don't like to admit when we're wrong. And my girlfriend, she has a better habit of admitting when she's wrong. I, on the other hand, do not because I don't like being in the spotlight of, yeah, I was wrong. And that really is not okay. So these past few months, I've really been like working on them, and it more so came into the actual spotlight. Like, yeah, I had hints of it, but when I was miserable and not doing anything because I couldn't find a job and I couldn't pay my bills and I was stressed out of my mind, it really just impacted me so hard mentally that it put strains on my relationship. But we talked it through, we talked about it, and we're getting through it. Because going through hard times in life is what happens more often than we would like to admit. And right now, the world sucks. The economy sucks. Everything is more difficult. And yeah. So it really just, you can't really let the outside world stresses stress out your relationship and cause those moments to happen, because they will come, and you can't let it affect your relationship no matter how bad it gets, because they are your partner, they are your person, they are your teammate. Your problems are their problems are your problems. And that's how it is when you choose a person, because we all come with baggage. So, when you feel defensive, you just have to pause and ask, what part of this is actually mine to own? And yeah, if you like start to practice the whole, okay, this is where I went wrong, this is what I should do next time to, like, this is what I should have done, I'll try better next time. Like, just pinpointing those things can really go a long way and help you out to practice not being defensive. And then last but not least, we have stonewalling. Stonewalling is when one partner shuts down, silent treatment, emotional withdrawal, walking away mid-conversation. It usually happens when someone is overwhelmed, their nervous system is flooded, and they can't respond constructively. So, out of these four, my main thing in my previous relationship was obviously getting defensive, and it was always typically over small shit. Getting defensive, contempt, and stonewalling. So, for my previous relationship, I would just shut down. I would do like a silent treatment, just have emotional withdrawal. And then he's typically the one that would like walk away and leave the apartment and like go for a drive. So I really never knew what he was doing in those moments when he was like out and about. And I kind of adopted that when I was really struggling mentally, because I was trapped in the house for like weeks at a time and I didn't really have money, and even just driving around kind of made me feel better in the middle of fucking nowhere. But I've since stopped that because I knew that it was affecting my relationship more and my girlfriend. So I like stopped doing that because now I actually like am not stuck in the house. Like I can do things, and I don't know, when you're in those moments, like everything just feels like it's crashing down, especially when your mental health is just fucking dog shit. So the tip for stonewalling is have a plan for timeouts. Step away, calm your body, and return ready to engage. Now, I suggested like putting a timer for 10 to 15 minutes, but honestly, it's so hard like making that habit because when you're angry and upset, you're not really thinking about it. You can't, it's like so hard to stop yourself and be like, okay, wait, we're both upset. Let's put a timer for 15 minutes and cool down and then come back. That's fucking hard. Anybody who does that, kudos to you, because like, goddamn, like, especially being in high emotion, it's fucking tough. So, that is the main four horsemen. Like, there's obviously gonna be like some other shit that can do that, but the final tip with all of that combined is notice one small moment today where you can pause, reframe, or appreciate, and it might just change the trajectory of your relationship. Like, you never know. In rebuilding that communication. But why are these things bad? Like criticism, just attacking your partner's character, not a specific complaint about behavior, but character attacks escalate defensiveness and resentment, and criticism tend to lead into contempt if repeated. How to spot it? Verbal and nonverbal. Opening sentences that single out the person. You always, you never. Your tone is like blaming, rising pitch, accusatory, and then your body language, pointing, aggressive facial expression. Like, what really helps is use a soft startup with the I statements, like I said, and a template you could use is I feel, feeling, when behavior happens. I'd like, request, or need. Example, you never help with the dishes. Try, I feel overwhelmed when dishes stack up after dinner. Can we make a plan for them tonight? Boom. Now, if you're doing like the individual work, pause before speaking, count to 3, label your emotion, I'm frustrated. Practice the soft startup out loud or in a journal. Replace global criticism in your head with specific observations. Now, if you're doing this for a couple exercise, complaint practice. Each partner practices delivering a complaint using the template above, while the other practices active listening, paraphrase, validate, ask clarifying questions. Like all of those together. You paraphrase and then you validate and then asking the clarifying questions. Use a intentional conversation rather than an ambush complaint. For contempt, with the mockery, sarcasm, hostile humor, eye-rolling, sneering, that behavior communicates disgust or superiority. Goddamn, had I sounded out. And it's one of the worst out of the 4. How to spot it, verbal and nonverbal. Sarcasm used to shame. Wow, what a brilliant plan. Name calling, mimicking, jokes that belittle. Nonverbal is the eye roll, the lip curl, smirk, or turning away. And why is it especially dangerous? Contempt signals fundamental disrespect and moral fucking damn it. Superiority. You know what? Whatever. It corrodes fondness and admiration and is a key buffer against divorce. This is how you can do it instead. Build a culture of appreciation and fondness. Intentionally notice and say genuine things you like about your partner each day. And then when you feel the contempt rising, call a break and reframe. I'm noticing I'm reacting with sarcasm. I don't want to be disrespectful. Let's pause. That shit is tough. It is tough to pause. For individual work, you can journal 3 things your partner did today that you appreciate, practice gratitude statements aloud, and address underlying contempt triggers, unprocessed resentment, chronic stress, or unmet needs. Therapy to unpack contempt's roots is often needed, because if you're doing the deep work, sometimes you need a bigger fucking shovel, aka a therapist. Now, for a couple exercises, 5-1 appreciation ratio practice. For every complaint, try to give 5 authentic positive comments throughout the week. If you need to research from Gottman, Gottman, supports the power of positive to negative ratios. And then the couples therapy that focuses on rebuilding admiration, because we always want to admire the person that we're with. Why else would you be with them? As for defensiveness, that righteous indignation or victimhood response, making excuses, counterattacking, or answering criticism with criticism rather than addressing it. And then how to spot it. It's not my fault responses. Well, you do X, blaming the other or shifting that responsibility. And then you have the tone that escalating or self-justifying. Why is it harmful? It prevents repair because it refuses to accept influence or responsibility, and it escalates conflict. Now, the antidote, which I was talking about earlier, but this one's more in depth, you need to accept the responsibility, even for part of it. Short script: you're right that I messed up there. I can see how that made you feel. I'm sorry. Use softening statements and validation. I understand why you'd feel that way. As for the individual work, practice self-awareness. Notice urge to justify, pause and ask, what role did I play? Work on emotion regulation skills so you're less reactive. Breathing, progressive muscle relaxation. Is that one phrase together? Breathing, progressive muscle relaxation? Girl, I don't know. And then for couples, for the exercise you could do, mirroring exercises. When partner speaks, reflect back what you heard before responding. This reduces reactive defensiveness and builds understanding. Make taking responsibility a regular habit. Each week, share one thing you could have done better, which I think that's a great idea. We're all people, we all fuck up, like I said before, and that's just a good way to practice. Now, how to spot it. I already did that one. I scrolled down too far. Okay, for stonewalling, the withdrawing from interaction, shutting down, giving the silent treatment, emotionally checking out of the conversation, often occurs when one partner is physiologically flooded, otherwise known as overwhelmed. Fuck, I can't speak. And how to spot it. Long silences, turning away, looking at your phone, blank facial expression, physically leaving the room, and then is it physiological cues? I think physiological. Yeah, I was saying the word wrong. Physiological cues in the stone mason: pounding heart, shallow breathing, sweating, signs of flooding, getting overwhelmed. Why is this dangerous? It prevents repair attempts and leaves issues unresolved. It's often a final stage after criticism, then contempt, then defensiveness, then stonewalling. What do you do instead? Physiological self-soothing timeout. Step away for 20 minutes, do calming exercises, deep breathing, walk, water, return, and de-escalate. Establish and negotiate a timeout protocol ahead of time. How long, what to do, how to reconnect afterward. Now, if you want the individual work, learn to recognize your signs of flooding and have a calming toolkit. Breathing, counting, grounding statements, or if stonewalling is habitual, individual therapy to address emotional avoidant patterns or attachment wounds help, because we all got attachment issues. As for the couple work, timeout agreement. Both partners commit to a pause and ritual and a re-engagement time After calm is restored, use a repair attempt script. Spouse A says a brief apology slash attempt to reconnect, and spouse B accepts slash acknowledges. Now, these repair attempts and communication practices that you can learn now, these are practical moves you can use immediately and regularly. So, soft startup or complain without blame, repair attempts, small words or gestures that de-escalate, a touch, I'm sorry, gentle humor, practice making and accepting repair attempts. Another is timeouts for flooding. Agree to a timeout and self-soothe for 20 minutes and then return and resume. Active listening, the mirroring and validation. Repeat back, ask, did I get that right? And then validate the feelings. Appreciation practice is the final one, and daily gratitude statements. Fight contempt with admiration. A soft startup could be, I felt hurt when X happened. Can we talk about it? I need help with Y. Accepting the responsibility. You're right. I could have handled that better. I'm sorry. The repair attempt when conflict heats. I don't want to keep hurting us. Can we pause for 20 minutes and try again? If a partner is defensive, I don't want to blame you. I'm sharing how I felt so we can resolve this together. As for the individual practices, the emotional labeling, when you get triggered, name the feeling. I'm feeling embarrassed / angry / overwhelmed, and this lowers the intensity. And the physiology, I hate with the PHY and the PSC and the whatever words. Physiology first, 6 breath box breathing before responding. Another is journaling templates. Write that raw complaint as behavior plus feeling plus need, then convert it to the soft startup template. And then you always have the therapeutic option, individual CBT for reactivity, trauma-informed therapy, if contempt / stonewalling comes from past attached wounds. But there's a short spotting checklist that you could use weekly, such as, did anyone use you always / you never in a complaint? Criticism warning. Any sneers, eye rolling, sarcasm used to get a laugh? Contempt warning. Are responses primarily excuses or counter blame? Defensiveness warning. Is either partner shutting down, checking out, or requiring long recovery after a conflict? Stonewalling / flooding warning. And if two or more of these occur regularly, treat that as a high priority relationship red flag and consider structured couples work. It could help. But just healthy love isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about fighting fair. Remembering that you and your partner are on the same side. It's not me versus you. It's us versus the problem. Watch for these 4 horsemen. It doesn't make you hypercritical. It makes you emotionally intelligent. Because emotional intelligence comes with self-awareness. We want to be self-aware. And it just gives you the power to choose connection over resentment, repair over distance, and love that grows instead of fades. Because if you really want to be with that person, you're going to do whatever it takes to change your behavior to make the relationship better. Like, if you truly love that person, that's exactly what you're going to do, is change for the better. Make the relationship work because it's what you want. And as one of my favorite shows quotes, love is a choice. You choose to love that person every day because relationships in marriage are fucking hard. They're very difficult. But if you have the right person by your side, it makes the world of a fucking difference. Because life is already hard enough. Why make it harder with a difficult partner? You know what I mean? Just try to work on that if it's something that you truly want. And you will know if you truly want it or not. Listening to this episode will say everything. So, that's all I gotta say. I'll let you guys go. And if you really like this episode or want to share it with your partner or somebody else who needs it, go right ahead. I would appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job. And I will see you later. Love you. Bye.